some occasions, you can trick yourself into believing anything.
Well, that's fun.
Right? It's neat. It's neat.
I mean, yeah, I hope it's real. That sounds fantastic.
Right? Aside from the inexplicable deaths, it's explaining how Frank Bannister was able to levitate beds, having never been in the house before. He later would say that he had 3 separate familiars and or spirit guides, Stuart, Cyrus, and a man that he only called the judge, and that they would help him during these particular investigations. When he would go into houses, he'd send his friends or his spirit guides or whatever he was calling them at the time to go wreak havoc in the house and mess with everything.
Oh, instead of actually helping?
What do you mean?
Well, you said wreak havoc in the house and...
Well, yeah, but they would wreak havoc and then the people would call Frank Bannister.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant when he would go in for a reading, he would use them to help.
Yeah, that's exactly what he would do. He'd go in after they were going and running amok in the house. He would basically send them to particular... So, like Ray Linsky's house, he told some people that he had sent Cyrus and Stuart to pick up the bed to make it levitate and then make the dishes in the kitchen go crazy and all the cabinets start banging at once.
And then he'd show up and, like, call him back and just be like, your house is clear now.
Exactly.
I mean, okay.
He also claimed that they lived with them, along with what he only described as a ghost dog, in the house that he kept burning the wood on. Outrageous. Sometimes he would say things like, oh, yeah, did you have the toilet bang up and down or the table turn? And then later he said he would reprimand his spirit guides for not doing that at their particular residence to bring some validity. Whether or not it's true, but Patricia also had claimed that she was talking to Johnny via Ouija board, and his ashes that she had placed in her father's urn, unbeknownst to her mother.
Like with her father's ashes?
No, dumped out of Dad and put Johnny back in.
Oh, rude.
She said that after she was out of the penitentiary that she was able to communicate with him often, and that may have been what had turned her into, like, losing her mind a little bit because she thought she was communing with a ghost.
Well, I mean, I don't know, maybe she was. She was fucking around with Ouija boards.
Yeah, maybe. But she also said she visually saw him, and there had been a couple accounts from the Bradleys where the cut on her hand that Dr. Linsky had said was too...
She had to suture it.
Yeah, she had to, like, sew it up. They think that she may have gotten that during what her mother and she had been describing to people that came to the house as poltergeist attacks. So they said that they found basically a man-shaped person coming through the walls, and it would attack her daughter. Mm-hmm. You messing with some things that you don't really understand.
Yeah, don't stop.
Stop! It is what it is, and I can't really speak to a lot of it, but I do have a couple pictures to show you.
Okay.
So I have a couple pictures of Frank Bannister, but I also have one of the supposed pictures of the entity coming out of the wall. So tell me if you can see it.
So what I'm about to look at is a picture of...
They had caught what they thought was a man-shaped entity coming out of the wall.
That's from the movie The Frighteners. Is that what... Oh, God, is that what the movie's based off of? Oh, that's so stupid. That's so stupid.
The reason I wanted to do this, and I'm so happy I orchestrated in a way that you did not get it the minute one, is because this is completely fictional. There is no Fairwater. Literally, there's no Fairwater. I actually looked to see if there was a town based on this, but all of it is the movie Frighteners, because April Fool's is coming up, and
You're so stupid.
That's what the requirement for...
You're so silly.
Yeah, so this supposed haunting was so outrageous, and this true crime was so outrageous that they made a movie on it. And by they made a movie on it, I mean Peter Jackson had gotten together with a friend of his after they made Heavenly Creatures. The only reason this movie, by the way, ever got made was because of the success of that. Yeah.
We did an episode on it.
We sure did.
Yep.
The only reason this was ever made was because of Heavenly Creatures. So they actually wrote this. There is a book on it. I tried to find it in my house. I remember my sister reading it.
So none of that happened?
Not one bit.
So so they didn't...
I told you a plot of a movie.
Oh, okay. I
love you so dearly, and that's why I was, like, threatening everyone.
Wait, what's there a book on, then? I'm confused.
There's a fucking book on the movie. My sister, for whatever reason...
Why?
She would read novelizations of the movies that scared her.
That's so silly.
It's so stupid.
That's very funny.
I'm so sorry, and thank you for
okay.
entertaining my stupidity.
That's
but
so
it's another episode.
Well, I liked how you're like, oh, it's like a movie.
Yeah, I kept saying it.
That's so silly.
That you didn't get it until I showed you the picture.
I haven't seen that movie since it came out.
Okay. How old were you in 1996?
6, 7? So it's been a hot minute.
I know, but I was really excited. The fact that you
In
knew
case
it,
anyone's curious, I'm 28 now, but
the fact that you knew it from the picture
Well, yeah, because
made me so happy.
that's the guy, the actor.
Michael J. Fox.
Yeah. I feel like that was a fun movie.
It's so fun. It
Yeah.
used to scare me so bad when I was little. I have one more cool thing because I tried to show it to Greg earlier, but I had to have put it on my computer for him to watch it, and I was still trying to retool my notes so that you wouldn't immediately be like, that's a Frighteners. I showed him a still from it, and he's like, oh, that's bad CG. And I was like, actually, it was revolutionary
At the
CG
time.
for 1996. It's the first movie to use as much CG in it ever.
Well, God, that's like when people go back and they're like, Final Fantasy VII looks like shit. And you're just like, at the time, it was wonderful.
Right. According to Busey, who played Johnny,
I remember that, yes.
he said there's 5 hours of extra footage, but you can't really pinpoint what it was. He says almost none of it was him. It also was Fox's last leading role in a live-action feature film. He obviously did voices after that.
Yeah.
And then Spin City until 2000 when he retired for Parkinson's disease issues.
That was very funny.
I'm sorry, and I'm happy I tricked you, but I'm also not happy because it doesn't seem as funny when you're not also laughing with me.
It was very funny. I liked it.
A toast because I'm sorry, Ty. 'Cause you don't seem as entertained as I did.
Oh, no, it was so funny. I loved it. I love that you did that. And I understand now why you said this episode needed to come out when it's coming out.
Yeah, because I was spending too much time tricking you and being like, oh, something's coming out on the 1st that will really, really tie in with
that
this.
was really, really fucking funny.
And I'm so sorry. But also, at least you didn't have to do an extra thing.
Okay, in case anybody's wondering, I've literally gotten to sit here the whole time and just guzzle down gin. And it's been great. It's been an easy episode for me. I just got to sit here and react. And the reveal was pretty funny. I don't know that I would have noticed Michael J. Fox, but I definitely noticed the whole, like, spooky coming out of the wallpaper because that's the cover of the box of the movie.
Oh, it's a face.
It's the
now.
face, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
I
the
got
same
it.
wallpaper.
Yeah.
So that's how I recognized it.
Oh.
Because I know my movie covers.
Honestly thought that you would have gotten it when I was like, it's like a movie. It's like a movie. It's like a movie.
Yeah, no, did not.
And I was like,
guess
wow,
at
heavy
all.
bombs
no,
here.
You got me. Well, and it's so funny too because I was visually like seeing it and I was like, oh my God, this is so cinematic. Like I can put it together.
I don't participate in April Fools, but I thought this one would be fun. So here's to those that have seen us at our best, which is you, and have seen us at our worst, which is you, and cannot tell the difference even when I'm laying in a doorway. Cheers.
Oh, cheers. I love you.
I love you back.
Gin is not meant for shooting.
No,
You
mad.
never make that face ever.
I know, I'm mad. I'm mad at myself. Oof, woof, 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 woof.
If you would like to cheers with us on social media, you can find us on Instagram, and we are Shots in the Dark Podcast. You can also find us on Snapchat and Twitter, where we are Shots in the Dark P. We are on Facebook, where we're Shots in the Dark Pod. And if you've got a cool story that you'd like to tell us, or if you have a comment about an episode, or if you just have something really fun that you'd like to hear us talk about, you can shoot us a quick message over at shotsinthedarkpodcast@gmail.com, and I'll let Whitney tell you about our Patreon.
We also have a Patreon. You can find us there. We are trying to put up more content and trying to retool our tiers so that something better is going to come to anyone that's nice enough to support us. The hope that we have is that the support that we get will eventually be able to be turned into some sort of ability to help out other podcasts, especially ones that are underfunded, as well as other charities that we think are super, super dear, and the people that we care about, which is you guys, would also hold dear.
And another thing that's really, really important, it seems like it's such a small, super easy thing to do, but if you could leave us a 5-star rating and review on whatever your favorite podcast directory is, it helps us so much because it helps other people find the show. So that means so much to us.
I know the last one that I saw was from Mackenzie, who also supports us on Patreon because he's a fantastic, fantastic human.
Yeah, for real. 3 cheers to Mackenzie.
Right?
But really, do you want to take 3 more shots?
But it was so sweet. And I remember being like, no one ever actually reviews us with the comment because apparently that matters. And it's really nice to read these things. but we're not also trying to inflate our egos because that's just really not who we are as people. But with that being said,
from both of us here at Shots in the Dark podcast, we hope that we've left you shaken.
Not stirred.
Goodbye.
Bye.
It's not our song at all.
It's just like eating again, but with less stress.